Welcome to It Is What It Is. I'm Shaw Marie, and today we are going to talk about sex trafficking and molestation and just sexual abuse in general. And it's not going to be very long, but I just wanted to make this because I just needed to, and because there is an event coming up in Idaho Falls tonight and tomorrow night, and I will tell you guys more about that at the end. And then, I've done a lot of research on it my whole life, and I know about sexual abuse personally. Well, not personally, but personally. I grew up in a abusive household, violently, mentally, sexually, with only one sibling. Actually, was that had that happen. But and so I always feel the need to be her voice and protect her and let everybody know that this shit's not okay. And so yeah, it affects me very personally, and I get very, very, very emotional. And I think right now in the world today, everything is crazy and chaotic, and everybody's protesting, right? And they're standing up for what they believe in, which is great. That's fine. But we have to do it for the children, because you're never going to see a bunch of kids walking around with signs saying it's not okay for you to touch me. You'll never see babies protesting how it's not okay for you to have sex with me. And that they want justice and they want it now. You'll never see that because they're children. So we as adults need to stand up and march and fight for them. And I even watched a documentary on their side, and this group I'm going to tell you about, and they're globally known, and they are one of the groups that believe it's okay to harm children and to have sex with children and to love children in a way that is just not okay. And so, yeah, I'm going to tell you guys about that. So just real quick, the four top states that I looked into that said that they have very high numbers is California, New York, Texas, and Florida, which I guess they're all really major, bigger places. So those are the top four, and that there are more than 2 million children globally that are sold into the sex trade. More than 2 million a year. So I'm going to tell you something. Another thing. And if what I'm about to tell you makes you uncomfortable and makes you want to not like my video because of what exactly I'm about to say, I just want to say right now that you're part of the problem. The reason why child abuse and child sex crimes and all these things go unstopped is because we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to know the fucking truth and the horribleness of the world. And one thing I've gotten to learn over this past week of looking into this more, besides my own personal take on it, is in this world, you can buy a baby with the umbilical cord still attached. They have sex with it and strangle the baby with their own umbilical cord. That happens. So, who's going to stand up for that baby? you know? Like, it's just so fucked up. So, yeah. So, sex trafficking or sex slavery, and that is it's important that we speak up for our children because they cannot speak up for themselves. It's so important and so wronged. And then you hear these stories where these girls ended up in sex trafficking because someone at home started touching them and no one believed them. How could a child come to you and describe acts that most adults don't know? And don't get me wrong, there's cases out there where it is like, okay, we don't like this person, and so there's vengeful people that do, unfortunately, make false accusations. Unfortunately, that does exist and that does happen. But those are not the people I'm speaking of today. So I want to make that very clear. And so, like, it's just... Okay, so, yeah. It's just, that's what that is. And there, I'm going to give you guys the number and everything else to call to. So, real quick, I'm going to tell you guys, not read about it. I'm going to tell you guys about this group. And you can watch this movie, too. And it is, if you type in Chicken Hawk documentary into YouTube, you can watch this piece of shit's video yourself. And it's about 40-something minutes of pure horrible trash. And the worst part about it is there's like almost 900 likes on this video. This documentary is purely a documentary on how it's okay for adults to have relationships with children. Inappropriate relationships. Not always saying sex, not always saying penetration, but still a relationship with children. And so, real quick, like, there's a group of people out there, okay, and this organization is 100% real. 100%. Not even fucking kidding you. You can look it up yourself. I'm going to tell you the name. And it is called, that they are trying to make themselves be known as being age fluid. Now, when you believe that you are age fluid, you can identify yourself as a child. In the example they use is an 8-year-old boy. And that you can feel inside that you are yourself an 8-year-old boy or an 8-year-old girl, whichever, whatever. So that means, let's say there's a 60-year-old disturbed person who believes that he identifies as an 8-year-old child. And if you are age fluid, that it's okay for you, because you identify as an 8-year-old child, to do adult things with another 8-year-old child because you're 8. Mm-hmm. And also, they believe and they want to make the age of consent for these type of acts is 4. 4 years old. Now I have an almost 3-year-old. And I wish a motherfucker would. And I ain't even playing. One quick way to get yourself eliminated from the earth, the planet. 4 years old, you want to make that the age. And this association is the Northern American Men Boy Love Association. And that's what they promote. And they send pamphlets and flyers to prisons and tell pedophiles alike that it's okay to be a pedophile. They're not a pedophile. They are just misunderstood. And one of the men on the documentary goes as far as to say that when he was receiving head, when he was getting oral sex performed on him by an 8-year-old child, that child put so much love, passion, and care into sucking his dick that he came very quickly, and that both of them were satisfied with the ending. This is shit that people don't ever fucking want to talk about because it's horrible. It's disgusting and it's wrong and it's sad. Put Jeffrey Epstein, okay? The list came out, the flight manifesto or whatever the fuck you want to call it, the flight log comes out, okay? And there's people on there like Ellen DeGeneres or whatever, Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Clinton, which I don't think anybody's denying that he needs to be on the list. That like no one's shocked there. But there's all these people, okay? And then they want to make up the fellow. I think really almost half the damn celebrities are on there, except for, of course, the people like the amazing people that you know do amazing things, like the Dax Shepards of the world and the Kristen Bells of the world, the fucking Monica Padmans of the world. They're not on this list. But other top name celebrities are. And then you have people that want to sit there and say, there's no way Will Smith could do anything like that. Are you 100% sure? Do you know him personally? The leader of the Northern American Boy Love Association is a lawyer. An everyday motherfucker. The person who abused my sister was an everyday motherfucker. A wrestling coach. You never would have looked at my family and thought what happened behind the closed doors happened to my family. You never would have in a million fucking years. It happens. It doesn't matter. Just because these people have money and put on a happy face doesn't mean they're not monsters. You don't know. How dare anybody tell a victim of sexual abuse and sexual violence that you are not a victim of sexual abuse or sexual violence? How dare you? In sex trafficking, just so you know, sex trafficking is not just selling a person and going state for state. Sex trafficking is giving anybody in any exchange for any sexual activity at all. Giving someone a cell phone and receiving a blowjob from a 15-year-old, you are sexually trafficking her. And it's wrong. What kind of sick person in your mind thinks that that's okay? And then you want to know what half of these fucking people's argument is especially the gay ones, I don't know what other fucking way to put it, is, and you'll hear it in the documentary, we can't have children ourselves, so what do you expect us to do? Not in those words, obviously, but that's exactly what they say. Is we love children, we love to do this, we can't keep it behind closed doors, but we don't have children of our own to do this to because we are gay. So what are we going to do? Are you fucking serious? Are you serious? And there's even, when you watch these documentaries, you will learn that there's even there's places out there, orphanages, social workers, that are in cahoots with these sick motherfuckers. And they just take these kids and they know these kids are they're desperate. I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for my brothers, Derek and Josh, if I literally ever would have been approached by someone who's like, hey, girl, you want to make $20, Jeffrey Epstein, you want to make $20 and go fucking massage this old dude and he might touch your titties for a minute, but you're going to make $200. Fuck yeah, I'm going. Y'all don't know where I came from. You know what I mean? I didn't come from my mother is not a horrible person by any fucking means. That woman is a goddamn saint. My father is not a terrible, terrible person. He just was not a good person to me. And then when he went to prison and he left for his horrible, disgusting acts upon my family, and my sister went away, my cousin went away, who is also my everything. I had nothing but my two friends And if it wasn't for those two keeping me grounded, I don't even know where I would be. But literally, that's all it takes, dude. Is someone from that type of background who has no money. I went to like selling drugs to provide for myself instead. I wasn't going to fucking sell my pussy, but I definitely would sell you something. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's just the way there's nowhere for anybody to turn. There's nowhere for me to go. There was nowhere for me to go at 13 years old when all this shit happened. And someone to be like, dude, you're all right. You're going to make it. Give me something to do. Like, no. There's no help out there for kids that fall on hard times. There's fucking kids out there, dude, that their parents kick them out of the house when they're 14 years old, 13 years old. I've heard stories as low as fucking 8 years old. Their parents kicked them out of the house. 8 years old, kicked out on the streets. The only thing they fucking know how to do and the only way they know how to get money is to sell themselves because some sick, disgusting motherfucker is out there, dude. And they know. They know. Because we don't talk about it. Because we don't stand up for them. That's the only option they have. Do you know how hard it is to become someone that is able to take in children, especially in other states? Not all states are hard. Some states are harder than others. But do you know the bullshit you have to go through to be a decent fucking person to take in children to help them? And then you get the kids that come to you and you're surprised they don't trust you when they've gone through literally the worst hell ever. It's horrible. This shit has to stop. You want to be recognized with the LGBTQ? Are you fucking kidding me? You're not the same. It's disgusting. And I'm not saying that the LGBTQ is, because literally I have a friend. Granted, we have not spoken in years, but I grew up at the time with her. When I met her at that time, there was no doubt in my mind that she was not born in the body she was supposed to be. And he finally gets to be who he truly is. And I've never seen a person happier to be in their own true skin. And so that is what that is. He was born in the wrong body and he was meant to be a boy. He was. I can say that with 100%. That sometimes that does happen. And those people have the right. You have the right to love who you want to love. You have the right to be in the body you want to be in. So I'm not pointing this towards the gay or trans or anything community. That's not. But here in the state of Idaho, we barely just gave an inmate a brand new fucking puss. We did. And he was in prison for molesting a little boy. And he went to prison with a pair of titties and was fucking sexually harassed because he was in a man's prison and had boobs. And so he was violated. And he was in there for molesting children. You get no sympathy from me when that happens to you and you go to prison and bad things happen to you. I will not sit here and say, oh, I am so sorry for that person. I will not, because I am not. Jailhouse justice exists because the courts don't do the right thing. I will not stop it. I will not say it should be banned. I will not say it is bad. Jailhouse justice is what needs to happen until the world fucking wakes up and realizes. So to say that this man who molested 12-year-olds to 11-year-olds, sexually abused them, needed the taxpayers of Idaho to pay for this. You're out of your fucking mind. But we did. We did. Because here in the state of Idaho, you can do these things, and the only thing that will happen to you that is even bad, remotely bad, is your name gets put on a website. You'll go to a writer program. A writer program consists of 9 to 6 months in jail. 6 to 9 months in jail. And then probation. And then we just put you out here. We don't actually give a fuck if you live close to a school, clear near a park or anything. Nope. Don't give a shit. This world, dude. That is the only thing I am ashamed of the state I live in. Is the way that we perceive and that we treat the children. Slowly things are changing, but they are only changing because people are now wanting to say they see the horrors of the world. I grew up in them. They've been around. It's fucking miserable. It's horrible. Ugh. So anyway, there's a lovely lady, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to make it to this event. I'm going to try my hardest, but I already had previous plans of going out of town, and I might cancel them for this. Who knows? I'm not 100% sure. But Tia Reynolds, I hope I said your last name right. I fucking been sweating it. I'm going to read her post that she posted on Facebook, and then I'm going to tell you she has a nice little event that's going to be happening here in Idaho Falls tonight, Friday, and tomorrow, Saturday. And so, her post says, do you want to live in a society where it is legal for full-grown men or women to decide that they are attracted to your child or family members and to try to pursue them sexually? And there is not a thing that you can even do about it. It's not the world you want to live in. I mean, you can obviously cause harm to this individual. Mind you, I would do the same, she says. But you will pay for the repercussions for harming that individual no matter what they did to your child or family member. She says, I know for a fact I do not want this. I know for a fact that if I was your child or your family member, you did not want this. And you would not want this. So why would you turn a blind eye to pedophilia or human trafficking? Please explain, because I am not understanding why we are not taking this more seriously. Wake up. See it happening in your neighborhood. This fight, this protest, this civil war needs to happen. We need to protect our young. The ones that are innocent and have no voice. We stand for those who can't. We are their voice. We are their future. No more silence. Be louder, America. And this woman's gone through hell. Like I said, I haven't personally met her, but she's a survivor of domestic violence, a horrible situation. And she's a rape survivor. Like, you guys, we need to stand up. And so Idaho Falls did a protest on Thursday, and I was not aware. I was asleep because I work super early. But she's having a protest on Broadway in Idaho Falls tonight. I believe it's from 5 to 8. I think she's providing masks. Don't quote me on that, but I think she is. If not, bring your fucking mask anyway. There's a mask mandate here anyway. You should have your own mask. Bring a sign. It's going to be tomorrow night and tonight at 5 to 8 on Broadway. Please go show her love and support. And it's about time. And I'm not kidding. If the things I said offended you, don't even bother asking me to apologize for shit, because I'm not. There is no such thing as child love. Okay? All you sick, twisted fucking people out there, there's not. No child wants you to do that to them. No child wants to be put in that situation where a full-grown man or woman is sexually taking advantage of them. There's not. And there's easy ways to tell the girls and boys that are in schools, at least, and in your neighborhood, and even in your kids' friend groups. You know your kids' friend groups. You see things happening. If you notice for some reason one kid starts where you notice at school, they stick to us at the start of the school year, they have a certain style, okay? Let's say by the middle of school, now we got name brand shoes. Now we got different clothes every day. Now we're fucking balling. Now we got friends and like all. We probably need to look into that a little more. Figure out, how are we getting this money? How are we getting these new shoes? How did you get these new clothes? And it could be as simple as, hey, fucking my mom finally got a job. We got up and up, and congratulate them. That's fine. But you must ask. When you see that girl who's young and who is weird around that uncle that's always around, but she gets weird and she's fine before he showed up, and then they stop talking when that guy walks in the door, take that child aside and ask them why. If you know my children, trust and believe I've asked my children exactly how they feel about you and what feelings they get when you're around them. You need, and like I said, it was in my home. Monsters aren't just random ass people. They're your fathers, your cousins, your uncles, your church leaders, your fucking store clerks. They're everywhere. The only person that you can honestly say you are 100% sure is not a pedophile is yourself. That is the only person you can speak to, is that you yourself know that you would never do that. That's it. The rest of the world is fucking suspect, bro. And you need to let your children know that. I just banned a fucking YouTube channel on my daughter's YouTube today because the girl in the video was talking about how she was answering the doorbell and letting strange people into their home. And as like a fun little show. And that was her thing. It's like, let's help these strangers. No. You don't let a damn soul into your home you don't know. You don't talk to a damn soul you don't know. Parents, be vigilant. We must teach and protect our children. Let them know no one touches you anywhere below any of you. Anywhere. I make sure I have daughters. I make sure they know below your fucking belly button, not a damn soul needs to be down there looking upon there or nothing. And if they do, I need to know. I teach my children no adult will ever need your help. If an adult comes to them for help, that I need to be told so that I can help them, because mommy is a better helper than you are. And trust and believe mommy is. That we don't talk to people. We don't go look for puppies. We don't. I even let her know, it doesn't matter. My brother lives with me. My adult brother lives with me. Nobody. And I even let her know when we first had this conversation, not daddy, not mommy, not uncle, not nobody needs to touch your girl parts. Nobody does. Know your bubble. Know your bubble. My 6-year-old will tell my 2-year-old, you're in my bubble. And my 2-year-old's like, oh, sorry, bro. Okay? So if a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old can understand the fact that they have a bubble and personal space and it's not okay for you to touch them, respect it. Get help. Do something. But believe me, touching little children is not the way to go. It needs to be stopped. There needs to be longer prison sentences. There needs to be more public shame, I guess, if that's the world we're coming to. There needs to be more public shame when it comes to these things. It needs to be publicized that if you are caught with a child in any way, shape, or form, shit's publicized. Whether it be on the web, on anything, parks, whatever. You need to be plastered everywhere. I don't give a fuck if you didn't do it, if you didn't fucking put your dick in them. I don't give a fuck. You still had the sick ass mental thought to do so. You are still a risk to society. That's not a normal thought. To look at a child and be like, and give them some fuck me eyes is a problem. It's a problem. Literally, please go to YouTube. You're on it right now because you're watching my video. Go to Chicken Hawk documentary and watch it. And let me know at the end of that 41 minutes, if you can even make it that far, what does your stomach tell you? The fact that I told you that there's men out there that will rape an infant and then strangle that infant with their umbilical cord did not make you want to stand up and protect them, something's wrong. If those things don't get you to do anything, it's wrong. Look at your children. Look at them. I can tell you honestly, I've spanked my daughter, my 6-year-old daughter, one time. In 6 years, I've never, ever. One time. And literally, I don't even consider it a spank because I was terrified. Because children shouldn't know harm, shouldn't know fear. You should, as a parent, as a guardian, as a protector, should not be the person your children are afraid of. I know what it's like to hear your parents' door open and to be scared. This world is not rainbows and butterflies, people. It's not. And I understand it's not all bad either. But the fact that we always turn a blind eye to the bad things because they make us uncomfortable, because they are disgusting, terrifying, mortifying, they still happen. There are still people out there that cannot even know, they don't even know words yet, that are being victimized. They don't even know how to speak. There are parents out there that advertise their children on the internet so that they can pay their rent. They would rather sell their children to pay their rent and just to get money in general. There's people out there who claim that their profession